So, good morning, everyone. Excuse me. Hopefully, you're in the right place. We are here today to talk about SummerWorks, our summer program, Washtenaw County Summer Youth Employment Program, and information on becoming an employer or a mentor. So, we're going to kick it off with some introductions. It was great to hear from all of you. Um, we're going to do a quick general program overview, and then we are going to break up into whether you're interested in being an employer or a mentor. If you're interested in both, join us in the employer room and we can share a little bit of information about both. And then we will talk about some key dates. We will talk about the support that we offer for employers and mentors. And then we will wrap up with some questions. So we will go ahead and get started. Actually, while we're here, I don't think staff have introduced themselves yet. So if you are with SummerWorks, if you want to, let's start with Morgan.
Cool. Good morning, everyone. My name is Morgan. I use she, her pronouns. I am the new SummerWorks program coordinator this summer. So very excited for that. Last summer, I served as a success coach. Yeah, just looking forward to getting to know all of you and to inch closer to the summer. So, yeah.
And I realized I didn't introduce myself. So good morning, everyone. My name is Kathleen. I am the SummerWorks program manager. And I will pass it over to Mel.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mel, and I am a returning success coach with SummerWorks.
Happy Friday, everyone. My name is Tabitha, and I have been a success coach for the past couple years, and I'm a research assistant. Very excited to get the summer started and talk about the ways that we can be there for our young adults this summer.
All right. And if you did not get a chance to introduce yourself, feel free to drop it in the chat. But we are very glad to have you all here. So I am going to pass it off to Morgan.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about our mission statement and our vision statement. So our mission statement is to build relationships between youth, local employers, and the broader Washtenaw County community in order to promote equity through youth empowerment, professional growth, and workforce development. And our vision statement is the SummerWorks vision is that young adults in Washtenaw County, regardless of social identities or economic situations, have access to a supportive environment when entering the workforce. We envision a community where all young adults are equipped with skills, knowledge, and networks to set them on a career path towards financial and professional success. And now I will turn it back over to Kathleen.
I almost forgot I was muted there for a second. But just a little bit, kind of a big overview. So our program, we started in 2016. And so we were originally a collaboration between Michigan Works Southeast and Washtenaw County Community and Economic Development. And then in 2017, U of M came on board to offer opportunities on campus. And so as we are entering our ninth year of the program. We have over 500 SummerWorks alumni that we have participated in this program. And so we are very proud of everyone that we have had a chance to work with, and we hope that you all are able to join our community. And so for our youth, our eligibility, we work with ages 16 to 24 who are living or attend school in Washtenaw County. And then our internships jobs are located at Washtenaw County businesses, nonprofits, organizations, county government, or at U of M. And then, talking about why summer youth employment. And so as it kind of may have seen in our mission and vision statement, there are large disparities in Washtenaw County that exist in educational and economic outcomes. And so we are here to kind of lower the structural barriers and provide a supportive environment for young adults to build networks, develop their leadership skills, and gain professional experience. And so really our goal is we're preparing young people for their future careers and next steps, overall to build a stronger community in Washtenaw County. And so I am going to turn it over to Tabitha to just share a little bit about who our participants are.
Thank you, Kathleen. So not listed on this slide is that our participants are absolute rock stars. So much fun and joy to work with. But what this slide does say, a little bit of our demographics. So last year we had 138 participants complete the program, and we had 115 young adults who completed their internships as well. And a little bit about the makeup of those young adults. So 55% were from our Ypsilanti zip codes, including Ypsilanti Township and city. And we had 74% coming from low income households. So again, we're really trying to address those structural barriers to those educational and economic outcomes. And so for our age breakdown, we do tend to skew a little bit on the younger side. So 16 to 17-year-olds, we had 81, 18, we had 14 participants, and 19 to 24, we did have 43 participants. And I will say this year, we are well on ahead all of our recruitment numbers. So we've got lots of young adults for 2024, very excited to join the program and hear about all the exciting opportunities you have for them.
So let's talk a little bit about what the program looks like for young adults. There are 3 elements of our programming that we offer. So professional development, which starts in April and then runs until August. And we have PD each week with sessions like interviewing skills, workplace ethics, financial planning, wellness and self-care, and social identities. So covering things from like personal and professional life. Young adults also complete assignments throughout the program. So by the end of the summer, they have an entire professional portfolio with a resume, cover letter, LinkedIn profile. And then in addition to the PDs being facilitated by us, the program staff, we also invite expert facilitators from the community to guide sessions and deliver topics to our young adults. So then in addition to PD, young adults are also matched with an internship, and the goal is for every young adult in the program to be matched. They work for 10 weeks. The internships are paid across the Washtenaw County. And then in the rare case that young adults are not matched with an internship, they still are able to continue to participate in our weekly professional development and earn a stipend for doing so. And then lastly, we offer ongoing mentorship and support from our success coaches and career advisors and program staff. And then the young adults are grouped by age and assigned a cohort of peers that they work with throughout the summer. Young adults are also able to opt into mentorship, which is where some of y'all come in, where they are matched with a mentor and will meet regularly with them throughout the summer. And then we also provide a ton of wraparound support from things like technology. So we provide young adults with laptops if needed, and if they complete the program, they're able to keep them. We also provide M cards or bus passes for young adults who need transportation, getting to professional development or to their internships. And we also connect young adults to resources within the community, like Michigan Works and MRS. Speaking of MRS, I will pass it over to Kathleen.
MRS is Michigan Rehabilitation Services, and they're one of our core partners as well. And so we just wanted to highlight them real quickly as a resource for employers and mentors. And so we are proud to have a very diverse group of young adults that we work with, and that includes young adults with disabilities. And so we work with them to ensure our program is inclusive and accessible to all our program participants. And so we work with Monica Robbins and Amy Dreyer at MRS, and they help employers and young adults make sure that they have what they need to be successful. And so they are always here to be consultants and advisors. And so we're really lucky to have them. So yeah, and their contact information's here, and we will be sharing out these slides. I don't think I said that at the beginning, but so I'm going to pass it over to Morgan to share some of our guests today.
All right, thanks, Kathleen. And we have such a special opportunity today. So we have some of our previous employers from Summer 23 here with us today, to kind of talk about their experience in the program. So we have some set questions that we're going to ask them, and then at the end we'll open it up for Q&A from any of you if you have any questions. So our first employer, we have Dakota Brunner. She is the Senior Manager in Human Resources, Talent, and Organizational Development at AdAdapted in Ann Arbor. And so on our right here, we also see a group picture of the AdAdapted team photo, but in the front, gray shirt with the black vest and jeans, that's one of our young adults, Maddie, who just did a phenomenal job. And Dakota shared this photo with us, and so that just goes to show that there is really an impact here. And we're all obviously so proud of Maddie. So we have one more employer with us today that will be speaking. We have Candy Hinton. She is the owner and broker of Hinton Real Estate Group in Ypsilanti. So we're super excited to have them here today and all that they're going to share with us. So our first question that we have is, what inspired you to sign on as an employer with SummerWorks?
Is there any order, or should I jump in?
No set order. Just go when you feel that it's right.
Okay, perfect. Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you guys for having me. I'm super excited to be here. We're very excited just to further engage in our SummerWorks partnership. So we're hoping this is a long-term forever thing, and I'm just very grateful to be back. So thank you, and thanks for inviting me today as well. As far as what inspired me to participate with SummerWorks, well, first, I had no idea that the program existed, but as soon as we found out, that's kind of when we immediately engaged. So as an organization for AdAdapted, we were very used to having 8 to 20 interns every year. And so the team also kind of relied on that just by how fast-paced we work, how accelerated our environment is. So with that, which it was great when we were doubling revenue year over year consecutively for 6 years, right? That's easy to kind of manage. But there was some economic uncertainty, I would say 2022 into 2023, that impacted our industry specifically. We were seeing a lot of layoffs, a lot of fear-based pullback with ad spend, just because we are in the advertising industry. And so with that, we had to make harsh decisions, right? So one of those decisions was we can no longer afford the $50,000 to $80,000 budget for interns each summer. So to get over that hump, knowing that we still had that need, I was desperately reaching out, trying to find some type of partially, fully subsidized internship programs. And with that, so reaching out to schools who thought I was crazy, asking for free labor, essentially. But then I was able to connect with Margarita over at Spark, Ann Arbor Spark, for those who aren't familiar. And she said, yes, we have a program that exists. We work with them. It's SummerWorks. And so that's when I was introduced to Kathleen, was able to sign up. And it's just been such a seamless process throughout the entire program last year. So even coming in, I felt like I had that hand holding that I needed for my first program, and I had everything, all the tools and expectations set up front. So though the inspiration was from economic, right, conservatorship, we definitely were just grateful that we've connected and we can continue this moving forward.
Say the same things that Dakota said. Thank you so much for having me back and having me as a guest today. I think I wanted to have youth that I could help and mentor. And I would have people come in all the time off the streets and say, hey, can my son, my daughter work for you? And I thought, oh, that just sounds scary because I don't know these people. I don't know what's going on. And so when I found out about SummerWorks, I was like, thank you, Lord. Someone else is vetting these kids. Someone else is already taking care of all of the other stuff that's needed. And all I need to do is pour into them. And so it gave me an opportunity to tell kids from 16 to 24 where they could go. So that was helpful. And then it was also very helpful that I then in turn was able to create a safe space for them and for me. So that was my inspiration.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Our next question is, what were you worried about prior to starting the program? In what ways did you navigate those concerns?
think I was most worried about, will I have enough to give them every day? Will I have enough to keep them busy for the hours that they are here? And will that information be able to translate into a learning moment, right? We didn't want them here bored. We didn't want them not learning. And it felt like curriculum in the beginning. I'm like, oh my goodness, what am I supposed to do every day for the next 10 weeks? And so just being able to go through the videos with you all, the Zoom, and then taking each week and really sitting down and making sure that I did that, I overcame that. But yeah, in the beginning, it was like, what am I going to do with you for the whole 10 weeks?
Full transparency, I didn't have any concerns, so I apologize. I can't necessarily answer the question. But as I mentioned, you guys just made it such a seamless process that I really felt supported going through it. So I think any opportunity that there would have been for any concerns to surface, you guys kind of avoided that just by your planning, your execution, and thoughtfulness into the program.
You both are incredible. Wow. All right. Our next question here is, how did you engage in mentorship with your interns?
I almost started with what you all were doing each week. And so when they would go to their class on Friday, they would come back with, that would start our week off. You know, what did you talk about? And then kind of debrief it on a Monday. And so that was really helpful in terms of mentorship for me, because I just tried to stay on the same path that you had already started so that the conversation was easy. And sometimes it took a weekend to debrief. When they were talking about code switching, it was really a big thing in this office. And so it was something that we could sit down and talk about on Monday, because I knew it was coming. And it was great to be able to just mentor them through that.
For us, over at Adapted, so we had our interns were assigned to different departments. So they had a department lead, a department manager as well that would assist them. So serving as HR and just in the office with them, the way that I personally engaged with them was just like a morning check-in. So when they were here, kind of touching base, what are you working on? How are you feeling about everything? And I think that gave them also the opportunity to kind of express anything that they wanted to lean into. We could then have further conversations with the department heads or managers to give them work that was starting to taper into what their interests were. So yeah, I would say overall, I mean, they were a huge help to us, but then how we engaged further was just leaning into their personal career interests, what projects we could do, because we had so much work to get done. So we had a selection of things to pick from. So even Maddie, for example, who's still with us now as a contractor, she has a finance major. So we were able to give her more of our financial advertisement planning projects, things like that, that kind of tailored into her interest. And she's still with us today. So worked out.
And I'd also mention that one of our interns took a real estate license. So she was able to take her license and get licensed. She's been back, I think, both of her breaks from the college, and she's worked here during the week that she's been back at home. So they were able to get licensed. And the other young lady learned more about marketing, and it's something she's now very much interested in, because you know, people thought, oh, you come into real estate and all we're selling is real estate, and the only thing I really went over the entire summer was, if you're going to be a realtor, you have to learn how to market. And I think that that was surprising for them. They're like, marketing? No, we're going to go look at houses. I'm like, no, you're going to learn how to shake hands and talk to people and learn how to put yourself out there. So it was surprising to them, but they were able to engage, and both of them got something out of it.
Beautiful. And I echo Tabitha's sentiment in the chat. You both go above and beyond for our young adults, and we're just so appreciative of that. So thank you so much. All right. Our next question is, what did you find most valuable about participating?
I am not a so I usually my girls at the real estate office will say I'm hard, I'm pretty rough. You know, I'm a great realtor. I don't know if I'm a great manager. So it was really good to be able to say, okay, I can't holler at these kids. I can't. So, it took me a minute to just learn how to, which was one of the challenges that I had. I wanted to make sure, when I said we're having interns, they were like, oh, poor interns. But I knew that I would be able to just kind of work it a little bit different. My kids are grown, they're 35 and 40 years old. And so now having interns back in the office, I knew they were going to make mistakes, and I needed to just kind of figure out what did that look like and how was I going to navigate that, especially teenagers. Because if I could think about, if I'm going to be honest, I think my most challenging time with my girls were they were teenagers. So having teenagers in here, I thought, oh my goodness. But I think I learned a lot by being able to manage them. And so that, I think the most valuable thing was that I could learn how to manage a different set of, take a different skill set on.
For us at Adapted, I would say what was most valuable is just the talent that we brought in. Like right, we know that, right, that we're getting a set of interns, we're excited, right? We know what the process is and kind of what to expect. But I think what was most surprising pleasantly is just how eager and motivated the interns were. Like, it was very clear that this wasn't just to check a box to graduate, right? Like, to do the requirement. But they really wanted to be there. They wanted to learn, that they want to learn new things, and they want to apply themselves and be professional and be in a corporate setting and do all of those things. So you could really see their motivation, which I would say is the most valuable. And then especially as an org, we've always been really big about growing within. As we're growing, we're a 12-year-old startup, so not so much a startup anymore. So one of the things we focus on, especially the last 5-6 years, is how do we keep building those stepping stones for internal growth? How do we grow within? We've had interns who are now leading our entire data team, leading our engineering teams, things like that as well. So having them in and getting talent in young who's eager and shares that mentality, I would say is hands down the most valuable thing you could offer to an employer. Because we can then take that, and as you guys know, Maddie's still with us, right? So we can continue to foster that, and hopefully she stays on and calls us headquarters for her too, long term. But most valuable would be, I would say, the talent. It's very, I would say the talent from SummerWorks is pretty distinguished from talent that I've seen from university partnerships and other things that we've participated with in the past. So I just appreciate that you guys share the same mentality, and so do the interns that we would be looking for.
I don't know what you all heard, but I heard how incredible our employers and our young adults are. So thanks for that reminder and that reiteration. We definitely appreciate you both being here and sharing everything. And just so grateful for you.
Thank you all for being here today. So I am going to cover employer logistics for the program. And so the first thing is just I kind of want to go over like what the commitment looks like. And so the first thing are two crucial events, I should say. And so the first is that we have an orientation for our employers. They are virtual, and we have two options, but we really want to make sure that employers are attending the orientation just to kind of make sure that you have everything that you need to be successful as an employer. And so we have two options. One is a Wednesday evening from 5 to 6:30, and then the other is a Friday morning from 9 to 10:30. And so it's April 17th or April 19th. And then the second important event is our interview day. And so this will be a chance where you will interview with young adults, get to talk to them about their interests and their skills. This is an in-person event. And so it will be on Wednesday, May 8th in the evening at WCC. We can set up a virtual setup if needed. And so what that would look like would be that we would have you on Zoom at a table, and then the young adults kind of table hop. But that is an option if needed. But we don't currently have an asynchronous option, so being available at that time. But also, if you aren't personally available, you're welcome to send someone else from your business or your organization if you need to do that. So then the other important piece is the internship employment period. And so this runs this year from June 17th through August 23rd. And if you are a returning employer, that's a week later than usual. The school districts kind of changed their calendars, and so we're trying to accommodate that. And so over the course of that 10 weeks, what that looks like is 20 hours of work per week. But really that is 16 with the employers. And then we have 4 hours of professional development on Fridays. And so that's the minimum. And then our pay rate is 15 or 17 an hour based on high school graduation status. So if they haven't graduated high school, it's 15 an hour, 17 if they have. And so as an employer, this equates to about 3,000 or 3,400 over the course of the summer. And so if you are able to pay that, it really helps us be able to run our program. And kind of with that, you get a lot of different support in terms of HR and payroll and stuff, and I will talk about that. But we also do have funding subsidies available. So if you're not able to pay at that rate, we can do partial funding, but we also have some full funding available. And so what that looks like, if you fill out an application, when we go over the details, you would just let us know that you need funding to participate. And so if you are paying, your place of business is paying for an intern, you are able to have them work more than 20 hours a week. But if you are receiving funding from us, it's 16 hours and then 4 with us. So a maximum of 20, but also at least 20. So that exact big number. I just wanted to touch on kind of, we are an internship program. And so while we do have mentorship in a different capacity, so our young adults have a chance to connect with mentors outside of their place of employment. But at the same time, we do really think of employers as mentors. You all play a very important role for them over the course of the summer. And so we really hope that this can be an experience that it's more than just a summer job, like that they have a chance to really learn something from this, that they are able to work with you all to take away valuable experiences, network with, within your organization. And so, thinking about what may have been your first job, we mentioned that earlier. And while they're all really valuable experiences, maybe think about like what you got out of that or what you didn't, and how that might impact our young adults. And so we really just want to encourage you all that as employers, you're mentors in a sense that you are building up the skills of our young adults. And then secondly, we just wanted to say, our community has a lot of resources. And so this is something that our program does as well in terms of connecting young people to resources. But as employers, you may have even more resources. Like if you know that your young adult is really interested in one specific thing, and maybe you know someone who does that, connecting them to be able to just talk about it. Or you may have different experiences that you know of that might be a good fit for the future. Or, maybe someone who has done a specific training, and you could connect them to that so that they can learn a little bit more about what that might look like. Excuse me. But you all can help connect our young adults to resources. And if you're able to do that, we always really appreciate it. And then just one more thing in terms of like our young adults really enjoy this program. Year after year, we get phenomenal reports back from young adults about the experiences that they've had. And really that comes down to positive employers and playing a really great role in their summer. And so, we just want to let you know that like you are really making an impact by joining this program. And if you are a returning employer, thank you for being here and thank you for coming back. And so this program really does make a difference, but we can't do it without our employers. And so we would really love to have you all join us. And so now I'm going to talk a little bit about the resources and support that our program offers to our young adults, but also you as employers. And so first and foremost, we have success coaches and career advisors that we have on our staff. And so each of our young adults is paired with a success coach or career advisor that's there to help them throughout their internship, which means that they're also there to help you. So if there are any like issues that happen throughout the summer, there's always a support person built into our program to, help our young adults navigate, problem solve, and also like skill building. And then that kind of, translates to you all if you're ever having any issues or unsure of things, like you have a personalized approach to our program. We also send out bi-weekly newsletters. And so these are obviously optional for you to read, but we include like important resources and tools that you can use. And so it's kind of like up to you how much you want to be involved, but we at least put the information out there so that you can use them as needed. We have a really great mentoring guide, which I'm going to click on and share in the chat. But it offers like tools and resources in terms of how to work with young adults, specific things in like terms of how to create a plan, set goals. Of course, it's not loading. But in terms of, we give this to our young adults and then like our official mentors of the program, but like things about, there's questions here, and it can be a really great outline or structure to the program if you want that. Again, it's not necessary. It's just like we want to provide as many resources to you all as possible to make it a positive experience. And so if you want to follow that structure, you're welcome to. We also have one-on-one check-ins. We have optional check-ins the month of June. So, once the interns start, if you want to check in, just let us know how things are going. But then we do have mandatory check-ins that we request that you all meet with us for short 20-30 minutes in the month of July, just to make sure that your expectations are being met, that the young adults are meeting the expectations that you had, and that we can kind of address any issues if there are any, and just, checking in on things. And we want to make sure that you all are having a good experience. In the past, we have used a Google Classroom to provide resources and updates for our employers, but we got some feedback that that wasn't the greatest method. And so we're trying something different this year. We're just having a Google folder that we'll continue linking to throughout the program, where we'll just throw resources, and you can continue to visit that link, and there will be updates. And so we will continue to send that out. But this is our SummerWorks team. And so these are everyone who works with our young adults. We have a really great team this year. And so they are here to support. They are the success coaches and career advisors. But in terms of what we provide, so we have two different hiring mechanisms. So if you are not with the University of Michigan, the hiring occurs through Michigan Works Southeast. And so we handle all of the like HR and hiring. And so they're technically employees of Michigan Works Southeast. And so we handle the I-9s and making sure that they have all that documentation. We handle the work permits and background checks. And then what that looks like from your end is that you will get an invoice for the work paid if you are paying for your intern. And so it's really just an invoice payment, and you don't have to worry about any of the HR or hiring, onboarding. We do all of that and take care of that for you. And same on the U of M side of things. So with U of M, the Ford School is the unit that SummerWorks is under. And so our Ford School HR provides HR support in terms of getting everyone hired. And we provide the password and unique name, email package, general M card, and for the employers. On the employer side of things, the only thing that you would need to do as a U of M employer is add them to your payroll group to approve their hours. And then if you have any like advanced setup needs, like if they need to be beyond a level 1 password, or they need specific M card access, that sort of thing. And for Michigan Works, as I mentioned, the employer of record, and part of what this looks like on the Michigan Works side of things is that you would sign a contract, which is a paid work experience contract, and it just kind of outlines what you can expect from Michigan Works and what the young adult can expect from you. But Michigan Works is a federally funded organization, and so these contracts have a lot regarding to labor laws. And one of the things that we do look for is that labor laws are posted in your place of work. If you don't have those, we're happy to provide them for you. We can print them off and bring them with us. But we also do a site visit the first 2 weeks in June. And so we'll get a chance to meet you in person. We'll give you some physical paperwork in terms of like a supervisor packet. And then we can bring the labor laws if you need them. And we also provide the timesheets as well. So that is the HR hiring side of things. But in terms of what you should think about, who will be supervising the intern, if you know that yet, if it'll be you or will it be someone else? What might your intern need? So if they have specific, and we also cover a lot of this at orientation, but just in terms of like what you might be responsible for versus what we're responsible for, I just want to cover that. So if they need anything specific organization wise on your end of things, like if they need a login access or an email specific to your organization, how are you going to set that up? How will you make sure that they're integrated into the rest of your team? So some suggestions that we have is having a welcome meeting, just to have them be introduced to everyone. You could invite them to your weekly team meetings if you have those, but just making sure that they feel welcome and comfortable as part of the team. And then in terms of what will they do, so think about like an internship description, what might be some of their duties and responsibilities. If you are able to, creating a work plan. If your work is project-based, what projects do you want accomplished? But also the work doesn't have to be project-based. It can be day-to-day responsibilities as well. And then what will the interns need to complete these projects? What might be backup projects or duties or responsibilities? Like if they finished XYZ, what would be the next thing on your list, just so that they often have a backup project and have something to work on. And so in terms of what the next step would be, if you are interested in becoming an employer, you would fill out an inquiry form, which is really short. It takes 5 minutes, and I know some of you have already done it, but it's really just letting us know that you are interested. And then from there, we will email you a link to sign up for an intake call. And so this will be a 20 to 30 minute Zoom call or phone call if you prefer phone. And we'll just kind of gather information about your organization. So, basic things like address and website and specifically if you're like on a bus stop, a bus route, but we'll go through all of that stuff, and we are able to sometimes get that ahead of time from your website. But then we'll also talk about what the internship might look like. And so you were able to work through this with you if you need support, or if you already have it ready to go, you can send it to us. But it kind of just looks like 3 to 4 2 to 4 key projects or responsibilities, 2 to 4 skills or experience the youth will gain, and then 2 to 4 desired skills or qualifications you're looking for. And so we have sample descriptions that I will drop in the chat right now. They are pretty straightforward, but again, just like these are here, the expectations, what they'll gain, and then desired skills, and then also working hours. So we have an example here from the U of M Museum of Art. So an example, they had 2 different positions. So there were navigators, and so they were checking visitors in, answering questions, wayfinding, and then they had a retail intern, and so their responsibilities were these bullet points. The second part is the mentorship and learning, and so kind of what can they use, like what will the intern get out of it? So for example, here we have communication, interpersonal skills, problem solving skills, and then desired qualifications. So if they have experience with customer service, computer skills, experience or basic knowledge of the visual arts. And then we have possible working hours. Another example here, it's a little bit shorter, but again, expectations and responsibilities, what they're able to learn, and then specific skills or qualifications that you're looking for. And so this is, again, something that we are happy to work with you to develop on the phone call, but you can also feel free to come to the call with it already done. We're really great at, if you tell us what the job is, we can craft something up and help you work through, what might sound interesting to young adults, what will gain interest to them. And so that's part of the intake call. And then once you have done that, the next thing is to come to our interview event. Here is a PDF version of these dates, key dates. But essentially, once we have that internship packet for all of the internships, we have the young adults rank what they're interested in, and we create an interview schedule for the internship interview day. After that event, you would let us know who you would be interested in working with. The young adults give us their feedback on what they're interested in. We make mutual matches. And so we would be matching you with a young adult. And then we'll reach out, if you give us the okay that you're happy to work with that young adult, then we will notify the young adult. And then the next thing would be to do a site visit, and then you can go ahead and get started with your intern. We also have a couple of optional events that are community celebration events. So we have a midsummer celebration and an end of summer celebration. It's just kind of a community celebration, celebrating everything that's been accomplished. And then we also have some professional development sessions that we offer employers. And again, these are all optional, but it's just like we want to provide as many resources as possible. So in the past, we've done things like inclusive mentorship, how to work across age difference. We've done incorporating DEI practices into your workplace. And then the other thing we do is roundtables. So we offer kind of just like an open forum of discussion. If you want to come and talk about your experience so far with other employers and kind of, whether it be brainstorming or just sharing your experiences, troubleshooting if you're having any trouble. But we offer those as optional events as well. And then, something that I did forget to mention. So this is a new event this year, actually. So we are having an internship kickoff and networking lunch. And so this will be at one of our early PD sessions. So we'll have a session with the young adults in the morning, and then you all would be invited to join us for lunch on the U of M campus, and it would be a chance to meet some other employers, some mentors, and then get to know your young adult in more of a professional social capacity. And so that's a new event this year, and that'll be June 21st. It's a Friday. And so we are looking forward to that new event. We're going to see how it goes. The next step would be to fill out this inquiry form if you haven't, or sign up for an intake call. I know some of you already have, and so I'm looking forward to chatting with you.
All right. Hi, everyone. This is the breakout room for mentorship. And we are so grateful that you have considered to give some of your time and energy to our program this summer, and especially to our young adults. I think, we're all here because we know the benefits of mentorship and the importance of mentorship. So just by a show of hands here, who has had a mentor or someone that has made a positive impact in their lives? Right? Perfect. Does anybody want to share?
Sure, I can share.
Thanks, Mel.
Anytime, Morgan. I have had quite a few mentors in my life, and they have always provided me with like support and guidance and someone to like go to and ask questions to. And I never feel like judged. I always feel supported, and they always think about me for like potential opportunities based on like my interests and my skills. And they have connected me with like a wider network of colleagues, and like potential employers and just people who are good to have in my corner. So I'm very grateful to my mentors.
Yeah, I echo that sentiment, Mel. And one of my favorite stories that I share about mentorship is that I had a mentor in undergrad, right? And he was a reverend, and he's still in my life. He just has moved on to DC, and is doing the good work in DC now. And so when I would swing by his office in undergrad and I would, say something that was kind of funny or out of pocket, he would say, "Morgan, try God, not me." And I was like, all right. So that's definitely something that's always stuck with me. And I feel like when my friends who are going to be mentors watch this, right, they'll know exactly who I'm talking about. So for sure. Okay. So we talked about the importance of mentors, right? Mel and I kind of shared how our mentors have impacted us and the importance that they've kind of played in our lives. So now let's talk about some of the benefits of being a mentor, right? So our young adults specifically, so our program, SummerWorks, is for young adults ages 16 to 24. This is a very transitional period in their lives. And it would be significant for you to be there for that, right? Studies have concluded that having a mentor leads to more positive outcomes for young adults, such as increased confidence and higher grades. With that being said, we're really fortunate to have so many amazing professionals within our Greater Washtenaw County network who choose to invest their time in our young adults, right? And even beyond. It's not just Washtenaw County, it's not just Michigan. We have mentors from California, from Ohio, right? All of these places, and we're so grateful. We're going to get into the logistics and more of the structure of the program in a little bit. But it's up to you and your mentee to create the relationship that you would want to have. So with that being said, next slide. Thanks, Mel. All right, so our mentorship period spans over 10 weeks. So from June 16th to August 23rd. So we piloted the mentorship component of the program in 2020, and each year we've continued to come back and make improvements based on mentor and mentee feedback. So some of the updates for this year based on the focus group feedback that Mel and I got from participants this year were that mentorship is going to be optional for the young adults this year, because then that leaves room for this intentionality piece, right? The young adults who choose to opt into mentorship are there because they want to be. You're both going to get the most out of that relationship, and it's going to be a great time this year. In addition to that, mentors will meet one-on-one with your mentee. So we used to have kind of like a group dynamic. Some of the feedback from that was that it wasn't enjoyable and it caused, scheduling difficulties, different things like that. So we are opting out of that, and now you will do one-on-one. We will match you with a young adult depending on the number of participants that we have. We're doing pretty good on numbers this year, so I feel really confident in this arena. And that will also be based on using your mentor application and your intake form, and then based on shared interest, goals, etc. When we kind of compare those spreadsheets for the pairing process. So some of the mentor expectations are that you coordinate regular meeting times with your mentee. This doesn't mean that it has to be the same time for each meeting, just that it's a regular meeting time, right? We also would ideally like for you to meet with your mentee at least 30 minutes per week. And this can take place in a virtual setting, right? So ideally you would use Zoom, Google Meet, a phone call, FaceTime, whatever you're comfortable with. There is the potential to meet in person if both the mentor and the mentee are comfortable. So that's something that you might want to discuss and disclose right up front with your mentee. Be open to maintaining a relationship with your young adult after the summer program. So if you really hit it off with your mentee, think about ways that you might consider maintaining that relationship after the program is over. Would you continue with your regular meetings, maybe once a month, meet once a year for coffee to catch up? Could you offer to be a reference for them for a job or maybe for a college application? Right? It's entirely up to you, but again, we know how impactful an ongoing relationship can be, and for young adults to have a supportive mentor in their lives. And finally, make sure that you communicate with the staff as needed. We are here to support you. You are not expected to handle serious situations on your own. So, for example, if your mentee opens up to you about something very personal that you don't feel comfortable discussing, or if your mentee confides in you that they need access to certain resource or supports, right? Or another scenario could be if it becomes difficult for you to reach out or to get in touch with your mentee, right? All you have to do is reach out to the program staff, myself, Mel, our other wonderful success coaches, right, who are not here on the call, but you will get to know very well this summer. We are all here for you, and we'll do whatever we can to make sure that that relationship can get back to where it was and will be ongoing for the summer and for the duration of the mentor-mentee relationship. So, the mentorship checklist. The mentorship application closes March 17th. And you do have to complete a background check. So all mentors must complete a background check every 2 years. We're going to get those in as soon as possible, once we have all our applications in, because that lag time really won't give us a lot of flex time in between the submission of the background check versus the mentorship kickoff event. And the background checks go through U of M, and in mentors, you will need to keep an eye out for an email from HireRight. And as soon as you get that, just do it, because the link I think is effective for like 3 to 7 days, but we don't want to take that chance. So as soon as you get it, just do it. It'll take you like 5 minutes, if that, right? Additionally, you will have to go through Children on Campus training. And this is an annual training and it takes 30 minutes. So this is required for you to work with our young adults. And we have some key dates here for you. Just kind of keep in mind, on March 17th, the applications close. And then we would start with background check and training as soon as possible. After that, May 13th, that week, you would get your mentor-mentee match. May 15th or 17th is an orientation. So if you can't make one, you would do the other and vice versa. Early June, we would do mentee introductions, June 4th or 5th, depending upon when your young adult chooses to do PD. That would be our mentorship kickoff event. So you would meet them on Zoom. June 16th through August 23rd is our mentorship period, so that 10-week span, right? June 21st is our internship kickoff and networking lunch, which is a new event this summer, which we're very excited for. July 10th is our midsummer event, and August 22nd is our end of program celebration. So the midsummer event is a nice way for young adults, employers, mentors, and families to come together, right? And to see what we've been doing all summer. It's a really good way to build community. We had really good food last summer. Shout out to Cuppies. And it was just a really good time, right? We broke off into cohorts. The young adults got to compete in some games. And it's just nice to see who your young adult, your mentee, right? Your intern has been working with all summer. And then our end of program celebration is where we come together to celebrate all of the work that our young adults have done throughout the summer, which is very nice because there are special recognitions, there are whole group shout outs. It's just a really good time. We have some optional events, June 3rd and May 30th and June 3rd. We have professional development workshops that are crafted by our wonderful Mel here. Mel, do you want to say a little bit about those?
Yeah, sure. So these are workshops that are additional trainings for employers and mentors about building successful relationships in kind of that mentorship role. Usually they have a focus on DEI and identity and creating inclusive work environments. And both sessions are the same. So you can either choose to attend the one on the 30th or the one on the 3rd. And they'll both be virtual, and we'll have more information coming soon.
Thanks, Mel. And then June 26th or July 25th, you could choose to attend an employer mentor roundtable, which is where you come and get to talk about your experience with other employers and mentors. They get to talk about their experience. Maybe you have a question about how you can engage a young adult who you might be having a hard time getting in contact with and so forth, right? So that's just another way for you to come together and kind of hear from and get to connect with other employers and mentors. Both of those are the same as well, so you can choose one and come to whichever one best fits your schedule. In addition to that, we have some resources and supports for mentors. So like I mentioned before, we have our program staff who will very much take care of you. We have newsletters that are sent out by Mel that are going out bi-weekly this summer. They're aesthetically pleasing and they have everything in it that you would need to know about SummerWorks for that, that time frame. We have a mentorship guide, which will give you so many things, right? Like discussion topics, different things like that will really help you kind of set the tone with your mentee. And then, like I mentioned before, we have our roundtables and professional development workshops. This is our incredible team here. So we have our program manager, our program coordinator, our incredible success coaches, and then Claire and Dallas are our youth career advisors that are with us, and they are stationed at Michigan Works. So we appreciate your consideration, your thoughtfulness. We would love to have you as a mentor. And if there is anything we can do for you, please let us know. Thank you.